What's happening? Welcome to Fringe Toast. My name is Bobby D, and this is Matthew Plotner.
I don't edit the video, man, so now my name is going to be just all kinds of messed up. That's
At least
okay.
they got your name right.
Well,
Oh,
true,
yeah.
but we can do it again.
I don't care. Whatever.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
This is Fringe Toast, and I don't know if
Okay,
you.
we've messed him up. This is Mercury retrograde. I just want to let you know.
This is Mercury retrograde.
No, this is Jennifer.
Yes. Yeah.
This is Mercury Girl Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer,
Hi.
and you are,
I'm Rachel.
and you are.
Kat.
Thank you so much for being on the show. We're really excited to have you on, and you've already done a wonderful job of introducing the show. So yeah, this is Fringe Toast, folks. Thank you for tuning in.
So
Yeah.
let's dive into this.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you guys figure out you had psychic abilities?
We're all different, really.
All
I
right.
was
It's
raised that
real
way.
different.
Really?
Yeah, and these two, it's a totally different story.
I was like right in the middle. Like my great grandmother and her mother really were practicing. They did a lot of stuff, and I actually have one of them used to do carnivals where she would do palm readings. So I have her sign that is falling apart, and I'm trying to restore it. That
Oh,
says
that's cool.
palmistry. It says office and palmistry, but the rest of my family wanted to ignore that shit. So it wasn't like Kat's family that was just raised and just like, yeah, just live that way. The rest of my family was really Southern Baptist. So I'm like right in between them, like I knew it was there, but I was told to ignore it.
Yep.
Mhm.
And but I started coming out of that cocoon in the 90s.
Mhm.
And Rachel went total religion girl.
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah. So I was raised Southern Baptist, so anything to do with this was the devil. And you couldn't do anything like that because it was the devil. And Jesus was the only one who could heal. And that's the way it was. But everybody is pretty much psychic.
Okay.
Southern Baptist.
So I was raised Southern Baptist. Everything that, if it didn't come from God, it came from the devil. But like I was saying, so I kind of, pushed that away, but everybody is psychic. There's just different forms. I'm more of an empath. And psychically, I don't really see anything. I will hear audio. I just know. And to me, that's kind of like the hardest thing because there is no visual. And how do you explain just the knowing? So that's me. And finally, probably after, because I've got 3 kids, after my first 2 was the oldest, I don't know, or, when they got, I don't know, probably about 12, 13 years ago, I finally said, fuck it. What's my parents or what's my family going to do? Spank me? I'm like the most responsible person out of all my family. So I'm like, obviously, I make good decisions. So I said, I'm going to start doing this.
That's awesome.
So that's what I did.
So
My family didn't think that I was making good decisions. And so me stepping into going, instead of doing this part-time, I'm doing full-time. They were just like, yep, another against her. And I'm just like,
Well.
you be okay.
right on.
Yeah. So what about you, Kat?
Well, my grandmother had dreams, and they would always come true. So whenever you would hear, okay, Granny had this dream or that dream, and it's a warning, don't go down this street today, and if you do, you're going to get in a car accident. That kind of thing would happen all the time. So I also had the experience of her knowing as a teenager when I snuck out of the house, and she lived 2 states away. She
That's
lived
awful.
2 states away. So, right, it was awful. So, so we listened to her, and because there was this openness, there wasn't any kind of spiritual shutdown that I think a lot of people get in society. And like Rachel said, we like to call it more natural than supernatural.
Mhm.
And there's things like culture, religion, personal bias that really kind of make people cloud their mind and chalk a lot of things up to either just being smart or it's your imagination.
Mhm.
So I didn't have that, but I was raised in the church, but it wasn't, the rest of it also wasn't tamped down. So it was still very broad, very open. So my sister and I would always have shared dream experiences too that would come true. So as I got a little bit older, when I was about 12, I got my first deck of tarot cards, and then Granny sits me down at the table and she says, "So, honey, I understand you got your first deck of cards. I think we need to do readings for each other." And I was like, like petrified. So, but we had a very close relationship, and I'm really fortunate that she gave that to me.
Right.
And really, honestly, as I got older and started developing those things, I learned how to bridge the gap between only seeing things in dream versus being able to see it regularly all the time, awake on command. And, really kind of honing my relationship with the cards and various different skills that I'm still building on today. It's basically kind of like being at a gym, and you work that muscle too.
Mhm.
So,
And that's what I've heard a lot, because I've been doing research on tarot and all that stuff, that you have to have this. It's almost like a relationship with the cards. They know you, you know them. You kind of put that energy in there. How would somebody go about doing that if they got their first deck? They have no clue. What's kind of that first
They sign up
approach?
for
They sign up for her
cards.
tarot class.
Yeah.
step number one.
I bought tarot decks. Like, I bought my first tarot deck in the 90s. And I just didn't like them because there was just too many damn rules. And because how they taught you how to do it then, you had to lay it out in a certain way. Everything had to be. So I gave away my last deck in like 2003, 2004. And I was just like, done, and I just always used the Oracle cards. And then I took her class because I was like, this is part of Metaphysical Round Table. And so I took the class. I bought a deck, and now I use them all the time because she took all of the stuff, the rules and stuff off of them. But when you buy your first deck to get to know them, the first thing I tell people, I'm like, buy a deck that you're just drawn to. Like Rachel, all of her decks have something to do with animals and crystals. It's like a normal, natural thing for her. Kat has some awesome and amazing fairy decks that are beautiful, and I love them, but they don't draw me in because they don't always have numbers. So any of the cards that I get have numbers on them. And so we all have like different kind of flavors, but I tell people, I'm like, just pick out a deck that you're drawn to, even if it's just aesthetically, and then touch them all.
Mm-hmm.
And with cards, there is a tarot deck and there's an oracle deck.
Yeah.
And I think all these are oracle decks here.
I have my
we got
regular
the tarot
tarot
deck too.
So a tarot deck is the more the traditional ones with the symbols, and an oracle, they like to say they're more fluff, and they'll be more geared to like whatever you like. And so there's a difference.
So funny because I keep pulling this one card, like Healer of the Ages.
When you're around me,
No, I
All
mean,
the time?
like I've just pulled it twice right
okay.
here.
I didn't know.
So
the moon right on top.
it's just you.
Yeah.
But and so this is like there is like the traditional tarot. I did not like them until I took Kat's class because I felt like there was too many rules, and I just wanted to be a free spirit and not have the rules of like the Baptist church on my back, like with my tarot card.
And was it with the tarot cards, the deck after you took her class and you like redone your relationship with tarot cards? Is that the deck who said they didn't like to be knocked on whenever you cleared them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you listen to your cards.
Yeah. So usually when I clear my cards, when I first get a deck and y'all tell me, I touch every single one, I look at every single one, and then I usually clear them with crystals. Because I don't know where the hell those cards have been. They've been in mass transit somewhere. They've been sitting in somebody's store or somebody's basement or whatever. And so I clear them with crystals, or I put them out in the moon.
What is your opinion on bought versus given decks? Because I was reading somewhere that somebody was all in arms because you have to be given your deck of cards. You can't buy them because if they lose, I don't know.
That all goes back to a belief, like whatever tradition, probably like those gypsy cards, Russian gypsy cards, and that's very much like the little troll or the little bell that people have on motorcycles. You're supposed to be given by someone with love because it protects you. So it'd be the same way with cards.
It is. I think that it was just handed down because women that used to read, it was a little bit taboo. I mean, hell, they burned witches for centuries, you know?
Yep.
And so they passed them down, you know, but they also disguised them as playing cards. So they passed them down. So I think that's where that came into play, that they needed to be given. But I've had people give me cards and I'm like, oh, you know, thanks for thinking about me. But they're not always cards that work for me really well. I mean, these were given to me and these work for me really well. And I mean, but I think it's because this person knew me so well, you know?
I do have a question. I don't want to stray too far away from your explanation as to how you found yourself into.
This is your show. Gun it up.
Right on, but you're very good at what you do, at your explanations of everything. So I was going to let you go, but
Check mark for Bobby.
Right.
Star.
I did want to bring up the point that, like, she had the benefit of having the support of her family. The two of you did not appreciate that same luxury. Do you think that if you had been supported by your family in something that you truly have a belief in and always really did, where would you be, or do you resent that? Is that something that you fight with and tangle with a little bit?
I don't.
Yeah. So for me, life is all about experiences, and since I didn't have that support, even though like my family had all these things going, like, oh my God, I saw 3 crosses in a field burning, and so because that typically means somebody's going to die, not a rally, and.
Okay, we're back recording.
The funny part. Okay.
It is. It's
Okay,
funny.
so
Yeah.
now it's time to address this. Anybody watching, I'm sorry the editing is shitty. We keep losing power on the board.
Just fill it full of.
It's Mercury retrograde.
Okay, so what it is we have a resident here, and he likes attention, and Kat just said, yeah, he's wanting this attention. And so we're going to wait till after at 9 o'clock to address you.
Okay,
and
well,
you know, have attention.
But let's do this.
Okay.
If you got something to say right here, wholeheartedly, this mic is all yours for the next
Yeah.
10 seconds. Whatever you want to say, I want to hear it, because let's get everybody's opinion on this. So talk away.
I don't know if he'll do that. He snuck up on
It's
me.
all his.
Okay.
I mean, he did. He
Let's-
snuck up
let's
on
I'm
me.
hoping I get a voice.
Well,
I
speaking
want
of
a
that,
voice.
I want you guys, after we're all done, to listen to an audio clip that Kelly sent me while she was in the hospital. And apparently, she left her
All right,
bed,
that's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He
Went
had
to
his
the
opportunity.
nurses
Alright.
and said, "Don't judge me, but that shit's talking to me." And the nurse just looked at her like, "You're not the first."
That is.
And
oh my
she was
gosh.
like, "I gotta go sleep with headphones." So,
Well, so it's these experiences. I mean, so I didn't have the support, but like I said, everybody in my family has little weird things that happen. But if I would have had the support, then people might have thought I was weird, or I might have been weirder than what I am now, and people probably wouldn't come up to me and talk to me and things like that. So it's just, you know, I just chalk it up to those experiences because it made me who I am and what I am.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, because really both of my children are showing me like some abilities, but they're also very young. And again, everybody is psychic, but I'm trying not to feed into it because I don't want them to think that I'm like just pushing that off on them and going, oh no, you're psychic. I mean, I'm just sitting back, and if they come and tell me something, I go, okay, well, let's talk about that. You know, what did you see or what did you hear? And they tell me stuff all the time, just like randomly. And I did ask my 6-year-old who was going to win the election, but we won't get into that. But
Yeah.
I was just like, who do you think is going to win the election? And so it's funny.
That leads to my next question. That's kind of, I don't want to offend, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Go to it.
I always read on groups where somebody comes out and says they're psychic. Oh, why don't you win the lottery? Why don't you use the powers to gain for yourself?
It don't
We-
work like that.
Metaphysical Round Table plays the lottery every week. I'm telling you, I don't know shit. I mean, I'm psychic and I read for people all the time, and I can tell you that I think this is your grandmother that's with you, or great grandmother. Like, she has the same color hair as you. Was she Irish? I don't know. She's got an accent. But this woman that's with you, I can talk to her, but she ain't going to tell me how to win the lottery because that's not my journey. I know. It's not my journey.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, because we do have a journey. So if we win the lottery, what are we going to do? You know, will we keep staying doing this, whatever we're doing?
What a
But I
little
mean,
bit of liberty.
Right? And a nicer vehicle, right?
Yeah.
They
I
say
mean-
money doesn't buy happipiness. I beg to fucking differ.
I'd love to try.
Yeah.
I would love to
Just
try.
give me the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, people on the other side do have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
They are tricksters. They are hilarious. They like to play jokes. And
What keeps turning off my power?
yeah,
so.
okay, yeah. And so they don't, you know, it's
Uh-huh.
you can't really alter your life. That's
You-
almost like a thing of free will.
Yeah.
In a way.
You don't want to alter like the path too much,
Right.
Because I mean, yeah, you can make changes and stuff, and you can decide to be, you know, go and do this thing or go and do this thing, but really, you kind of have a path, a set path.
Oh,
You have
okay.
some twists and turns,
Yeah, I'm digging
some
it.
different, yeah. But I mean, because there's a lot of people that I think we've all read for, and we go, "Oh, hun, so far off your path. What the
Mhm.
hell?" You know?
Well, then that's what I want to know, because I am having a hell of a time with my life right now. So if I got to change paths, I'm all for it. Let me
Just
know.
Let Jennifer do your numbers, and that will tell you a lot.
Mhm.
I'm down for
I
that.
don't really think he's off his path. Do you?
No, but that's another story. But the thing with big events like lotto sort of stuff. First of all, I did know a guy. He's unfortunately deceased at this point, but he did get lotto numbers occasionally for people that won. Sadly, I was never one of them. However, it's it's one of those things where it's like that's a huge event that it's kind of like the butterfly effect. That's going to affect so many other people
Yeah.
around that person, and you never know what they're going to do with it. You know, so if that ripple effect is going to change something else that isn't supposed to happen, you know, then that's not what's going to be given to us to give to somebody else. So
That's a really good point, because there's too many. It's like with elections, there's too many people that can change their minds. So every day when I ask who's going to win the election, because all of my clients want to know, the percentages change every day because other people are changing their minds. And I drew a percentage scale for my guides and was like, don't tell me yes or no anymore. Just give me a percentage. And it's amazing how the percentages change.
now my grandmother was kind of like that. She could tune into numbers really well. So we would go to the casinos in Mississippi.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I could do this, but she could point out the different slot machines for you to go to, and honey, go to that one right there. It's about to hit. And that's what you do. And damn if it wouldn't, you know, give it a few pulls and cha-ching. So yeah.
I need her to come with me.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Now, see,
Something.
I have done that at the roulette table. And
Really?
yeah, I've done that, you know, and I know that I just use the colors, and that's 50-50 chance, but that is done pretty good. But also, when you throw craps is a very superstitious energy type game. But there's actually a lot, I go all the time, honey, but there's actually a lot of
Doing this.
things where it's called liquid gold. And so it's a meditation that you can listen to. Of course, you have to buy it for like $19, but it's unlimited play. But this gentleman is out of the Moreau Institute, I think I texted you about earlier.
Mhm.
So what, and he's done this big study on it to do all this because he teaches a class with it. But whenever your heart chakra is open, then you're more apt to win. So he done this thing, I guess it was in Vegas, but the casinos were so interested because they want to know all the latest ways people are going to cheat. They would let him have a table for a long time. And so that's what he does. He takes his group to the table and they play. But there's certain guidelines, like you can't be greedy, you can't be like needing money. And like for a while before you go to the table, you have to watch really good feel-good movies. because
Okay.
you're opening up your heart
That's
chakra.
it. I will watch
Yeah.
every Nora Ephron movie that
Yeah.
has ever been made and
So
go
you
to the
go.
damn casino.
That, like, they had went with $5 and they wound it up like with over $2,000, and they just kept playing and playing and playing because it's the energy that would affect the dice when they roll the dice.
But does she share this with us?
I have several times.
Yes.
Nobody listens to me.
Today's the day. It's
Right.
on your path.
It is. Today's the day that we actually hear her.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, there's science behind that.
I do love that. But I think that a lot of psychics can pull numbers or see things for people that doesn't benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can pull numbers for people, but not for themselves. I mean, and it's the same with cards. Like, I don't read for myself. Do y'all
No,
read for yourself?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
but that makes sense. Whenever you're doing it out of the intention to help somebody, not out of personal greed, then
Yeah.
you're probably going to get the answers.
Yeah.
More.
I want to talk about this the shop.
Okay.
I mean, we've been toying with the idea of having this conversation. I want to know.
This is
So-
so good. She
Mhm.
got numbed to the energy. And I just thought that it was other people's guides with them. But there is energy here. And she just thought she just was like, kinda
Because I
getting
can
numb
feel
to
it.
Yeah.
I can feel when there's energy around. That's
Mhm.
how I know. So I knew that there was nothing in here. As a matter of fact, the lady next door, she's like, hey, somebody's over here. And I'm like, oh, I'll come over here and fix this because I got my place on lockdown. Ain't nobody up in there. I got it on lockdown. I got it on lockdown.
Well,
I got it on lockdown. Guess what?
Surprise.
Surprise.
well. So how long has the shop been here?
I've been here over a year.
Okay, so over a year.
Mhm.
So in that time, when you first got
Mhm.
here,
Yes, whenever I first got here, I knew somebody was here, and I knew somebody was here, and that was fine as long as it was daylight. Because it doesn't matter how much you do this, there's still uneasiness to it sometimes, you know. But you don't have fear because that feeds into it.
oh, that's interesting.
So I knew something was here, and I was like, okay. Talking to my spirit guides, you don't let it bother me, don't let it do this, it can't scare me, and all that. And then there was one time when I was here working late at night, something was back here with me, and I was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this right now. And I was like, I'm just going to leave. So I didn't turn this light off, and I just went up there and locked the door, and I didn't look back because I was like, I don't want that stuck in my head of always seeing something back here. And I left. And I never really felt that anymore. So I just assumed that my guides and my whole team was protecting
Mhm.
Rachel
Mhm.
until about, a month ago?
And it scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was not like as easy with it as Kat. Like when I started being able to hear, I was like, okay, I'm okay with being clairaudient. Like I'm okay with that. Because I was always very clairsentient. Which is the
Yeah, I was gonna
feeling,
say,
is
yeah.
the feeling. And then she just, like Rachel was saying, she just knows the right thing. Well, I started being able to hear, and I was like, I'm good. I'm good. We don't have to go to the visual. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
because she doesn't want to see. What she sees is usually guardians and angels.
Mhm.
So that's what she does.
And so I made a deal with my guides when I was pregnant and I started being able to see, because when you're pregnant, you can't shut the energy down. And, or really as women, and I'm sorry to bring this up for fellas, when you're on your cycles, you really can't shut that energy down. So I started being able to see more, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make a deal with y'all. I don't mind being able to see as long as it's somebody's guides or angels, I'm okay. I don't want to see ghosts. I don't want to see entities. I don't want to see like any of
or
this.
how they died.
Yeah, I don't want
Nothing
to see
scary.
any of this weird shit. I don't want to see it. Well, that went on for a little while, about 5 years. And then I started seeing stuff and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. And they're like, no, everybody has to grow. Everybody has to evolve. And I was like, so I was back here one night by myself.
Right. But we were doing our podcast, our Facebook thing.
Yes.
And we done this whole series on ghost spirits and what different things are.
Mhm.
And so one of the last things that had happened was Kat said, we're going to introduce you into the
I was-
scarier things.
I was
Yeah.
laughing at her,
Mhm.
and I jokingly said, Jennifer, I'm going to send you a ghost. No shit. Said it. verbatim, Jennifer, I'm going to send you a ghost. That fucking night. Or was it the next night?
No,
No, it was that night because Rachel was walking her out and gonna lock the door, and I was still downloading our show that we do live on Facebook, and then we download it and put it on YouTube. And I'm sitting back here, and I was just like at this table, and all of a sudden he was like breathing on me, like right here, and I went, "Oh no 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 no!" And I went like. And I'm like so embarrassed now. I was like, I felt like I was just like running on tiptoe, like, make that go away. And they were like, what? And Rachel goes, who's here? And Kat was like, oh, it's that man. And I was like, you go
What
back
man?
there and you get that man. He was breathing on me. And Rachel thought somebody had broken in the back
Like you
door.
was saying, because you said, I hear breathing. And I was like, somebody's breaking in? No. And then he's
That
here
was
right
funny.
now. Like he's literally here.
But he thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He thought it was so funny. And I was like,
Yeah. So Kat is like, yeah, he's here all the time. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? And she's like, well, you didn't know
I
it was
thought you
haunted
knew.
back there? And I was
Yeah.
like, no. Because she told us about a little old lady who lives upstairs. And so this old man. And so then Kat's like, don't worry about it. He only comes out at night. And I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. So I was okay with that. So the next day, because she said he stays back here in this area.
Like this, yeah.
but she
and
said he only comes out at night.
And I was like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Uh-huh.
And so the next day, I was on a Zoom call with one of my friends, and Jennifer was here, and she had her earphones on. And my friend is like, oh my gosh, Rachel, you look so tired. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, no, tell me, we're good friends. You can tell me. I know you're tired. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, your right side's really droopy. And I was like, hang on. So I was like, Jennifer.
That's not news you want to find out.
No,
You know?
she's
It's
like,
not.
she
Your right
was
side
being
is
so
kind of
nice. And she was like, check in, see, your right side is your maternal, check in. I was like, no, I'm completely fine. So I was like, Jennifer, and I was like, is there somebody around me? She goes, yeah, that man. And I was like, where's he at? She goes, he's right there on your right side. And I was like, don't worry, Alka, it's not me, it's the man. And obviously he must have died of a stroke or a heart attack. And she's
Which is
like,
the droop.
yeah. And she was like,
I was getting ready to make fun of that. But
yeah, and now she's like, tell him to go away and leave you alone right now. And I was like, okay, look. And first of all, I was just pissed because somebody reassured me that he only comes out at night, and this was 3:30 during the day. I was like, you lied. You lied.
See, okay.
But
He's got a sense of humor. He
Mhm.
thinks this shit's funny, so he had to show me up too. And start breathing on Jennifer right after I said, Jennifer, I'm going to send you a ghost.
And I'm just like, the
Mhm.
hell? I mean, but that's the thing is that, again, we don't know. We're not like omnipotent, we're
Well, and we all have different strengths.
Yes.
Like, I guess I have more of a strength to see dead people, and they have their own strengths and just various abilities. And I think that's the thing that maybe goes back to what you were asking before too, is everybody has a certain capability, and it's going to be different based on how you're wired and what your experiences are. And so it's not better or worse than any other. It's just how the information filters through. So,
and we're just all so different, but we're it's a neat unity. So last year when we started Metaphysical Round Table, I had been a part of another show, and that disbanded, and I was looking to regroup, and then they didn't know each other, so I drug them in, and it was just awesome. But it's nice because we're very different, but there's a neat kind of unity, and that's why we wanted to name it. That's why we wanted to name it Metaphysical Round Table. Well, also it worked with the numbers.
Yeah, it worked with the numbers.
Because I'm a nut I do numerology, so I had to make sure that it worked with the numbers, and it worked with the numbers.
Yeah, because for the longest time we're still talking.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, she was
That's cool.
texting us, and she was like, what do I need to call this? And I was like, sending her stuff, and then she was sending her stuff. And then later on, she was like, yeah, the numbers. I was like, why didn't you tell me you were looking for something with the numbers? I thought you was looking something for a cool name.
Well, I was, but it needed to jive with the numbers, and then we needed to start on a certain day,
Yeah.
and we needed to,
It's been a year.
Our
17th.
anniversary is the 17th.
Yeah.
Well,
That's awesome.
Right
We're
on. Happy
rocking the
anniversary.
Casbah. Thank you very much. I know. So we're celebrating our year anniversary by doing our first guest on somebody else's show.
Well, thank
So
you
cool.
very much for being on the show.
This is so awesome. It's great.
So let's transition into a reading,
Ooh.
if you want, if you're ready.
All right, let's do it, man. I have no clue what to expect. I've never been through anything like this before.
So
Welcome.
are you getting the reading or are you getting the
They
reading?
both.
I think
won.
they both should.
All right.
I don't, whatever.
I mean, that's completely
Yeah.
up to you
What
guys.
time are we on right now?
7:06.
Okay, we're good. All right.
So, well, so what? You're doing some kind of new enterprise besides this?
No. I work for a company in Temple called, and I work there as their product support specialist. I lead a team that
So,
kind of educates.
so then this is your new enterprise?
Uh,
Is
I
this
would think
what
so,
you're-
yeah.
Is this
We've
what
only-
you're investing in?
this is where all my heart goes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Well, not all of it.
there's some good stuff that's happening here because I do feel like the more you invest in it, the more you invest in this, it is going to get broader and broader.
No, I certainly hope so. And I've invested lots of money and lots of hours into creating stuff on my own channel, creating stuff with Matt, and
It's more than just a hobby, though. It's
I've
gonna
always been drawn to this
Yeah.
type of work. Whenever I was a teenager, I wanted to be on the radio. I tried to get a job at Kiss 102.7 in Carrollton, but they were like, you gotta have an education. We can't just we can't just hire a teenager. I was like, I'll clean your toilets. I don't care.
But that's how it always starts out with the great disc jockeys. Always like, I just started here, midnight shift, working this and playing
Right.
tapes.
So this is always I've always been drawn to speaking and kind of entertaining from behind a microphone. So yeah,
This is going to be more. This is going to be more. Like I hope you're not in love with your job.
yeah. I love it. I've been there for 5 years. I really do enjoy my work there, but I don't.
Well, I'm not saying kick it to the curb right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're going to have an opportunity to leave there and do this more full time. And I think that this is going to be good. It feels like a couple of years, maybe 3. But yeah, I'll have to do your numbers too. But I think overall you found like a niche that like you can really get into, and you're just like, oh yeah, and I feel like there's more people that are coming. Like I feel like you're drawn in a flock.
I'm trying to. My channel, Whom It May, is my story to the world, and that could be whoever I meet. You know, whatever interest comes to my mind, whatever person comes on my path that I'm like, hey, would you like to come and be on the show?
I didn't want that in your
Well,
way.
I'd love to do that.
I think essentially what's going to happen is that when you become like really, I don't want to say fed up, but bored with your job, your intuition and really your guides are going to pull you into a place where you're feeling the power. And what you're going to do is you're going to start feeling uncomfortable, like really just at your job until you're just like, sayonara. And but it's a good change for you. The key here is that if you lock yourself down and say, I have to have this job in order to feed this project, you're not looking up, you're not seeing the light, you're not seeing what's coming. I think this is just going to be a fantastic segue into you are going to be able to support yourself with this. It just may take a couple of years. It may take some time to sort of hammer out.
Maybe so.
This is good.
Don't leave me behind when you do that, man.
Right.
So yeah,
And it's probably like the second podcast that made you famous. Third
Ooh.
podcast.
Yeah. You know, the guests that you had on then
Back in the day.
back in the day.
You.
Oh,
Okay.
this is
Your
good.
turn, man.
So, all right, I'm picking up on a baby girl. Like, now I don't know if she's here yet or
I
if
got
this
two.
is coming. Okay. Is one of them a toddler?
They're 8 and 9.
Okay, there's another.
No, don't tell me that.
No, listen.
No.
Okay. I wrote this down, and I want to note that you saw me writing before I pulled these cards. This is the card of the pregnant mother. If you guys don't want another one, you need to be careful.
Well, my wife is tubes tied. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
that better be good
Something's-
enough. Otherwise, I'm getting
something's-
fixed tomorrow.
okay, something's going on. If it's not yours, you may end up. I don't know. The best I can say is there's a toddler, baby girl. Something's going on, and with that, I'm seeing.
I know what you're. I think I know
You
what you're
don't want
referring
that
to.
situation.
Okay.
No. My
Oh.
daughter, my wife's sister, just had a baby girl, and she's going away for a very, very long time. And they're trying to find somebody to give that kid to. I don't want that kid. That better
know
not
you
be
don't.
what you're referring
I know
to.
you don't, but here's the thing. Okay, there's
He's
this
got
whole.
a Cohen's shirt on. The
There's
irony.
this whole projection of like 2-3 years that I'm seeing that has to do with this kid and you. So, toddler, baby girl, you feel pulled down and you feel drained by this. And it's a little bit of a tiff between you and your wife. I've got all this written down. I swear to you, you can look at this in a minute. But I want you to know it really is okay. And I feel like if you're on this or in this place with it where you're like, okay, I can't manage that and pursue my passions, pursue what I'm trying to do. I feel stuck by this. This isn't, in line with where I'm trying to go with my life. I'm trying to live my life now, finally,
Mhm.
And I get that. I do. But what you need to know is you will and you are. So if this comes to pass, you end up with this kid, you're still going to pursue your passions, your dreams. I know it's extra work. I know it is. But what I wrote down is like, basically, as far as your growth and what you want to do, pursuing your passions, your dreams, getting back to you, who you are yourself, living for you, not other people or even kids. You've got a projection of about 2 to 3 years for that to really blow up and really blossom. And that means that throughout that time, you've got steady growth. So what you need to know is, even though she's coming in, she's going to be a lot of work. It's worth it. Your life is still going to be yours, I promise you. And by the time she's independent enough to, not need
be
so
attached.
much care, well, not only the attachment, but I think where you're trying to go, what you're trying to pursue is going to allow you to be able to do so. So you're not going to be stuck. That's the thing I'm trying to say. You're not going to be stuck. If that's part of the concern.
And that is interesting, the 2 to 3 years. I think it is the two of them together.
Shoot, I didn't even think about
No,
that.
there's some sort of combination, and I want her to see what she gets on the combination of their energy.
Well, no, what's
I know.
interesting is like you were zoned in on him, and I was kind of tuning that out. So because I was like focused on this one, like I got to talk to this one. I don't know why, but that's where I'm going. So
Because that
together,
baby girl is coming into you, but I'm telling you, I think. What do you feel on their energy
You're
together?
going to have to ask me a direct question.
Oh my God!
I can't help it.
Well, I will say something too, though.
Tell me how
she was talking about
their
your
group
growth,
is
and
going.
I have never felt like you guys wouldn't be big with Fringe Toast and
Yeah.
what you're doing. So
Read
just
Fringe
keep
Toast.
at it.
Is
Seriously.
French toast going to be a big hit?
Yes,
For sure.
for sure.
I'm down
Let's
with
say
that.
it already is.
Yeah.
You just have to walk the path
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
keep at it.
It's like you've
Yeah.
tuned into the station
like in a
that you
year.
were supposed to be at, and you've just gone.
Yeah, like in a year.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Tuning a radio is the intro to both of our
Yeah.
shows. Tuning,
Really?
Yeah. Tuning a radio.
The static is the beginning of this show, like radio static.
And And tuning a radio is the intro to mine as well.
Oh, Rachel just told me the name of it last night, and I haven't had a chance to look you guys up. I'm sorry.
She didn't stalk you. I did. She did. We did.
Yeah, I have questions about your website because it's awesome.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
Thank
Anyway.
you.
I know.
I
We've
appreciate
got
it very
like
much.
questions.
So,
But
do I have any other questions?
yeah.
You
So-
can ask me. They just have to be direct.
I want to know because I have literally been out of work for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know which direction to go. I've talked to my wife about going into real estate, staying in engineering work. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know where
I think
to
you're
go.
doing what you're supposed to be doing.
See, and that's what I keep telling her.
Okay.
No, I'm
just-
gonna agree with her.
Mhm.
I'm gonna agree with her because what I felt was
Mhm.
exactly that. And when you asked that question, what I got immediately was sit still,
No. Yeah.
stay right where you are.
Oh my gosh, but it does have to do with this child too. Like
That
if
too.
he's home more, like in times when your wife
Another
works.
kid.
What
Yeah,
does she do?
my wife works from home.
Is it? Yeah, she does. But that's a job. I mean, I work from home. It's a job. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to like sort of seal yourself off. You're
tough.
going to be able to. Yeah, you're going to be able to help out with the baby. You're going to be able to help. You're going to really be able to pick that up. It's a good operation because you're still, when she's off work, you're going to be able to go tag and you're going to be able to go do your thing. You're going to be able
Yeah.
to run with it.
And so you're going to be able to use this whole baby thing and podcast thing because you're like, no. And she's like, no, but you don't see this side. And then you're like, I don't want to, get a job in corporate America. I want to do this. And you're going to say, it'll work. So,
It's funny you say that.
Mhm.
I literally tell her since the day we were married, since the day I was 16, I never wanted a corporate job ever. He's sitting behind a desk
mhm.
in a cubicle is literally the equivalent of hell, is my mind.
Same.
It's
like
ugh.
soul death.
Well,
Yes.
when is y'all's birthday?
Well,
When
see,
are you?
I almost see it like a trade-off. Like you say, trust me. And she says, okay, trust me. And then y'all go with
So
That's
what's
exactly
your sign?
how our relationship is.
I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
Sagittarius.
Wow, this is an interesting little. This is very interesting. I love it. Water, fire.
I love reading together with you guys. It's awesome.
No, I know. Every
all the time.
every time
How
we
would
do,
you?
we've done like we have a few people that have called us and wanted like a reading with all three of us, and it's really awesome because like the energy we just feed into each other. So your equipment is messing up because of the dude here, because of our energy, and because of Mercury retrograde.
Yep.
Because like when Mercury goes retrograde, just communication.
Yeah,
you know,
obviously y'all are not
shitstorm.
burning a Mercury retrograde.
Neutralizer candle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a shame.
You need to
Well,
get
then that's
one
what
of
I
those.
need to get
Yeah.
because I'm all for it.
But no, we do our podcast. We used to do our podcast here before COVID, and then we do our weekly show, our weekly live show with the Spirit Realm Network here, and we've had like all kinds of hiccups, and so like Kat just had to tell the guy, hey, dude.
Yeah, and then he was trying to come in
Which
May.
it hasn't done anything since that. So
Mhm.
The links in the description box down
Good.
below for all of that stuff.
So this is
Uh,
making
What's-
perfect sense.
Oh, for
now.
us?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
If you're worried about
you're very
finances
welcome.
through this transition,
Mhm.
you're gonna be fine. I swear to you, you will be fine. I know shit's tough right now. I get it. Okay. Trust me. Long term, you're gold. You're fine. Okay. With the baby, you're fine. I need you to understand that and get it through your head because I know it's fucking stressful.
Oh, you have no idea.
Oh,
We've
I
been
do.
going back and forth on who's going to take the kid in the family. And
Fighting. Okay. So right with this whole mother situation. What you two as a unit need to do right now is if you have any ideas about travel, going to another place, another city, something like that for interviews or whatever you need to do that now. Basically, that's what this is. Now is the time for that. So if you want to go to North Carolina, wherever, Lilydale, New York, who knows, whatever.
Lilydale, New York.
Oh, I want to go. Can
We
you
need to
take
look
me,
that up.
please?
I already told Jennifer I was quitting this podcast and joining theirs because they're going, but the guys don't. I don't know where they're going.
Saturday.
They
Yep.
are, yeah.
Well, but
Okay.
really too, the baby she's not, it is a lot of work, but it's not
It's not too much.
Yeah, it's not going to kill you.
You feel like it's going to be too much. You're going to be tired.
You haven't
But
met my other
she
3
doesn't-
kids, though.
She doesn't need
Yeah,
to
they're
feel
crazy.
like
You recruit them for work. That's
Yes.
slave labor, and you
Oh.
take
Their
it.
baby
You haven't
doll.
met my kids.
she doesn't
Yeah,
need
this will be their
to.
baby doll.
But this baby doesn't need to feel like, she's shuffled around like a puck.
Oh, I agree with that. That's why
It's-
we've all been fighting
yeah.
about it.
But that's the thing. I think you guys are set up for it.
She's important. I think she's going to be
Special.
more healing to your family than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds crazy right now, but wait till she's about 1.5 years. Some things are going to start to develop. You're going to see something brand new that you've never seen out of that kid. And I think you're going to be very impressed.
Surprise.
So, yeah. So, thing is,
Her head's going to spin. All kinds of crazy.
yeah, I
things.
mean, like pea soup, vomit, the whole. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I mean,
It's gonna
I'm
start
for it.
thinking early.
Whatever.
It's going to be good.
If I can record it and put it on YouTube, I'm for it.
So, no engineering, no real estate. Get no, very specifically, very no. On that. Keep manifesting your inner magician here. We talked about that on our podcast.
Yeah.
That he came up yesterday too.
Yeah.
Just keep at what you're already doing.
And so
Find new avenues with it.
Yeah, and my tarot teacher taught me that card means you have all the tools in your tool belt for what is coming.
To make it exactly what you want it to
Essentially,
be.
you do too, by
Yeah.
the way.
We'll go ahead and wrap it here, and we will definitely be back to talk to you guys again. I want to kind of make this a regular thing, even if it's just off camera.
There's going to be
So-
a joint thing. Don't worry.
All right, well, yeah, let's go ahead and
Well,
we'll
thank you
cut
so
it.
much for
And
having us on
yeah,
here.
thank you guys for coming on and being a part of this. And I'm so looking
Very
forward to doing
welcome.
more of this with you guys. It's awesome.
We are too.
And-
It was nice to meet both of you.
Welcome to dysfunction.
Thank you.
Oh,
Nice to meet
I've been
you
here
as
for
well.
years, but I appreciate the
You're
invite. So welcome.
You're a member for a while.
Well, it's not George Norrie and it ain't Coast to Coast, but I'm Bobby and that's Matt, and you've been served Fringe toast.